Hey, coin hunters. Imagine this: you're digging through your pocket change, pulling out the usual boring pennies, and suddenly, boom! You're holding onto a penny that could make you a millionaire. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, it's not. Today, we're talking about the 1969 D Lincoln penny, yes, that little copper coin you've probably tossed into a jar without a second thought. But here's the kicker: some of these pennies are worth $1.10 million. That's right, a single 1-cent coin could be your golden ticket to early retirement. So before you roll your eyes and say, "Nah, I'll never find one," let me tell you why this penny is so special, what makes it valuable, and how you can check if you've got one sitting in your house right now. Stick around, because you don't want to miss this. Alright, let's break this down. In 1969, the Denver Mint produced millions of Lincoln pennies. Most of them are just your everyday, run-of-the-mill pennies, basically worth 1 cent. But a few rare ones have something unusual: a double die error. Don't worry, I got you. It's a mistake that happens during the coin-making process. When the design is stamped onto the coin's blank surface, sometimes the die shifts ever so slightly, creating a double image on parts of the coin, usually on Lincoln's face, the date, or the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." These errors are super rare, and collectors go absolutely bananas over them. One of these bad boys was sold for $1.1 million, yes, a single penny. That's like turning a fast food cheeseburger into a Lamborghini. Use a magnifying glass. Seriously, your eyes will thank you. Some doubling is very subtle. Look for the D mint mark. It should be below the date, 1969, on the front of the coin. Compare it to online images. A quick search can show you what a real 1969 D double die looks like. If you think you've struck gold, don't sell it to just anyone. Get it graded by a professional coin authentication service like PCGS or NGC. You might be wondering, why would anyone pay over $1 million for a penny? Well, it all comes down to rarity and demand. Few exist. Only a handful of these double die 1969 D pennies are known, making them super rare. Coin collectors go crazy over errors, and a major double die from 1969 is like the holy grail. Historical significance. The 60s were a wild time: moon landings, Woodstock, and now, million-dollar pennies. A collector with deep pockets doesn't mind dropping 7 figures to own a unique piece of history. And let's be real, if you had that kind of money, wouldn't you want to own a $1 million penny just to flex on your friends? Now, let me tell you a quick personal story. A few years ago, my uncle, let's call him Uncle Bob, was a huge skeptic about rare coins. He thought it was all a scam, like nobody actually finds these in real life. One day, he found an old coffee can full of pennies in his garage. Guess what? He found a 1955 double die penny worth thousands. Nope. He used it to pay for gas, not realizing what he had. You better believe he still kicks himself for that one. Moral of the story? Check your change, go grab your old pennies, look for a 1969 D with doubling, and get it checked out. It only takes a few minutes, and who knows? You could be sitting on a small fortune without even realizing it. And if you love learning about rare coins that could make you rich, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on future videos. I've got more hidden treasure tips coming your way. Before you go, drop a comment below. Have you ever found a rare coin in your change? I'd love to hear your stories. Hey there, coin hunters. Imagine this: you're digging through your old piggy bank, searching for some spare change to buy a coffee, and bam! You spot a 1965 penny. No mint mark. You're about to toss it back into circulation when, wait a second, you remember watching this very video. And now you know this little copper beauty could be worth $1.20 million. Yep, that's right. A single 1965 no mint mark Lincoln penny has sold for over $1 million. Today, we're diving deep into why this coin is so valuable, what makes it special, and how you can find one. So, if you've ever dreamed of getting rich from pocket change, stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll be racing to check every penny in your house. Alright, let's break it down. The 1965 penny isn't rare because of a low mintage. In fact, the US Mint struck over 1 billion of these pennies. But here's the kicker: 1965 was a chaotic year for coin production. The mint had just removed silver from dimes and quarters, and to prevent coin hoarding, they stopped putting mint marks on coins altogether. So, whether your penny came from Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, there's no mint mark to tell you where it was made. Great question. A standard 1965 penny is worth exactly 1 cent unless it has one of these three things. Some 1965 pennies were accidentally struck on silver planchets left over from 1964. If you find one of these, congratulations, you just hit the jackpot. A flawless, untouched 1965 penny graded MS-67 or higher can sell for tens of thousands of dollars. Some pennies have doubled dies, off-center strikes, or even a proof finish that wasn't supposed to exist. These can push the value way up. A personal coin story, relatable moment. I'll be honest, I wasn't always into coin collecting. One day, I was cleaning out my grandpa's old desk drawer, and I found a tin full of pennies. I thought, just some pocket change, but then I noticed something weird. One of the pennies looked shinier than the rest. I took it to a local coin shop, and the guy behind the counter nearly spilled his coffee when he saw it. It turned out to be a 1965 penny struck on a silver planchet. I didn't sell it, but knowing I was holding something worth thousands of dollars? Yeah, that was a wild moment. Grab a magnet. If your penny sticks to it, sorry, it's just regular copper. But if it doesn't, keep going. Weigh it. A normal 1965 penny weighs 3.11 grams, but if it was struck on a silver dime planchet, it'll weigh around 2.5 grams. Is Lincoln's face a little off-center? These details can mean big bucks. Get it graded. If you think you've got a winner, send it to PCGS or NGC for professional grading. Okay, let's talk money. In 2023, a near-perfect 1965 penny sold at auction for $1.2 million. Even lower-grade error coins have gone for $20,000 to $50,000. So yeah, if you find one of these, you might want to hold off on spending it at the vending machine. The 1965 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that could turn your spare change into life-changing cash. Now, the real question is, do you have one? If you found this video helpful, or just entertaining, hit that like button. And if you want to stay in the loop on all the crazy coins hiding in your pocket, subscribe to the channel. I post weekly videos on rare coins, valuable errors, and how you can turn everyday change into serious money. And one last thing, before you leave, go check your pennies. Because who knows? That little coin sitting in your couch cushions could be worth a fortune. Hey there, fellow treasure hunters. Ever dreamt of finding $1 million penny? Well, grab your piggy banks and let's dive into the world of the 2021 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Spoiler alert, it might just be worth more than you think. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's just a penny. What's the big deal? But trust me, this little copper-colored coin has some secrets up its sleeve. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's talk about what makes a coin valuable. It's not just about age, it's about rarity, condition, and those quirky mint errors that collectors go bananas over. Speaking of errors, the 2021 D Lincoln penny has had its fair share of oopsies. Some of these mistakes have turned an ordinary 1-cent coin into a collector's dream. For instance, there have been reports of 2021 pennies with die cracks. Those are little fractures that occur during the minting process. One such penny sold for a whopping $247 online. Imagine finding one of these in your couch cushions. I remember the time I found a rare coin in my old jacket pocket. Thought I'd hit the jackpot until I realized it was just a chocolate coin from last Christmas. But back to business. While standard 2021 D pennies might not make you a millionaire overnight, those with unique errors or in pristine condition can fetch a pretty penny, pun intended. According to recent data, an ungraded 2021 D penny might get you around $1.71. But if you've got one in MS-68 condition, you're looking at over $800. So, how do you know if you've got a hidden gem? First, check for any unusual markings or errors. Then, consider getting it graded by a professional. Remember, condition is king in the coin world. And here's a little insider tip, always check your change. You never know when a rare coin might pop up. I once paid for coffee with a coin worth more than the latte. In all seriousness, coin collecting is not just about the money. It's about the thrill of the hunt, the stories behind each coin, and the history you hold in your hands. So, next time you come across a 2021 D Lincoln penny, take a closer look. You might just be holding a small fortune. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of valuable coins, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. We've got plenty more tips and stories coming your way. Alright, folks, let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at your pennies? I mean, really looked at them. Because you could be walking around with a little brown coin in your pocket worth a life-changing $1.4 million. Yeah, you heard that right. Today, we're diving deep into the 1985 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, one of the most valuable pennies in existence. So grab your coin jar, dust off that magnifying glass, and let's find out if you've got a golden, or should I say, copper ticket to riches. Oh, and stick around to the end because I'll share a wild story about the time I almost threw away a valuable coin without realizing it. Learn from my mistakes, people. In 1985, the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia produced Lincoln pennies without a mint mark, which was completely normal. So what makes this one so special? Turns out, a small number of these pennies had an error in their composition, plus some crazy minting mistakes that collectors go nuts for. Some were struck on the wrong planchet, others had double dies, and some have an incredibly rare misprint that makes them look a little off. And when coins look a little off, collectors start throwing around big money. Philadelphia pennies don't have a mint mark, so that's expected. But not all 1985 no-mint pennies are valuable, only certain ones. This is where things get interesting. If Lincoln's face or the words Liberty and In God We Trust look blurry or doubled, you've hit the jackpot. Some of these pennies were accidentally struck on brass planchets instead of zinc. If your penny feels heavier or has a more golden tint, get it checked. A worn-out penny isn't fetching $1 million. If yours looks shiny and nearly untouched, that's where the big money comes in. But one of these rare error pennies, in top condition? Boom, $1.4 million. That's more than some Ferraris, people. Alright, story time. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my desk and found a jar of old pennies. I'm not gonna lie, I almost threw them out. But at the last second, I decided to check a few. Guess what I found? A 1955 double-die penny worth around $1,500, not exactly $1 million coin, but still, I almost trashed it. Lesson learned: always check your change before you spend it. Because you never know when you might be holding a penny that could buy you a house. So, next time you get a handful of change, don't just toss it in a jar or spend it on gum, take a second to check. Your next grocery store run could lead to $1 million discovery, and if you love learning about valuable coins and how to find them, hit that subscribe button because I've got more money-making coin tips coming your way. Also, drop a comment. What's the coolest coin you've ever found? I want to hear your stories. Hey there, coin enthusiasts and curious minds. Have you ever glanced at a penny and thought, could this be my ticket to $1 million? Well, hold on to your hats, because today we're diving deep into the world of the 2014 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Spoiler alert, while it's a fascinating coin, it's not exactly the golden ticket to millionaire status. Let's unravel the mystery together. I'm at my local coffee shop, digging through my wallet to pay for my caffeine fix. I hand over a few coins, and the barista's eyes widen. Do you collect coins? She asks. I chuckle, only when they might be worth more than my coffee. This sparked a conversation about rare coins, leading us down the rabbit hole of penny hunting. And that's how I stumbled upon the intriguing tale of the 2014 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. First things first, let's get acquainted with our coin of interest. The 2014 Lincoln penny, featuring the iconic Union shield on its reverse, was minted in staggering numbers, over 3.9 billion at the Philadelphia Mint alone. These Philadelphia minted pennies typically lack a mint mark, which is standard practice for that facility. Now, before you start emptying your piggy banks, let's talk value. In circulated condition, these pennies are generally worth, drumroll, please, 1 cent. Yes, you heard that right. Despite their shiny appearance and the hopes of many, most 2014 no-mint mark pennies won't fetch more than their face value in everyday transactions. But don't lose hope just yet. If you happen upon an uncirculated 2014 penny, one that looks as fresh as the day it was minted, you might be in for a modest treat. Such coins can command prices ranging from 10 to 30 cents. Not exactly retirement money, but hey, it's a start. Now, for the piece de resistance. In 2018, a 2014 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny graded MS69RD by the Numismatic Guarantee Company sold for a whopping $1,995. MS69RD denotes a near-perfect coin with exceptional luster and minimal imperfections. However, such high-grade specimens are exceedingly rare, and finding one in your pocket change is about as likely as winning the lottery while being struck by lightning. US Coins Guide. Let's not forget the wildcards in the coin collecting world: error coins. Some 2014 pennies exhibit intriguing errors like doubled dies, off-center strikes, or the elusive BIE error, a small die crack between the B and E in Liberty. These anomalies can increase a coin's value, sometimes fetching anywhere from $25 to over $100, depending on the error's prominence and the coin's condition. So, keep your eyes peeled. US Coins Guide. While the 2014 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny isn't your shortcut to a $1.5 million payday, it serves as a captivating entry point into the world of coin collecting. The thrill lies in the hunt, the stories behind each coin, and the community of fellow enthusiasts you'll meet along the way. So, next time you come across a penny, take a closer look. You might just hold a tiny piece of history in your hand. And who knows? Maybe one day, you'll stumble upon that rare gem that makes your heart race. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of coins and want more tips on spotting valuable treasures in your pocket change, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Happy collecting, and may your hunts be ever fruitful. Hey there, coin lovers and treasure hunters. Imagine this: you're digging through your couch cushions for some spare change, maybe just enough for a coffee. You pull out a penny, about to toss it aside when, boom, you realize it's worth $1.6 million. Yep, a single 2007 Lincoln penny could make you a millionaire. Crazy, right? Today, we're diving into why this little copper coin is turning heads in the coin collecting world. We'll break down what makes it so valuable, how to check if you have one, and of course, share a few laughs along the way. Plus, stick around because I've got a wild personal story about a penny that almost slipped through my fingers. So, if you've ever thought, why would anyone care about pennies? Trust me, this one is different. Let's get into it. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 2007 Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, as the D mint mark suggests. Now, most of these pennies are only worth, well, a penny. But here's where things get juicy. A few of them have rare errors or unique features that make them insanely valuable. So, why is one of these pennies selling for enough to buy a house? The secret lies in minting errors and high-grade condition. Some 2007 pennies were struck twice, causing the design to be slightly misaligned. If Lincoln's face looks a little shaky or the letters seem doubled, you might have a winner. If part of the design is missing because the coin wasn't centered properly during minting, collectors go crazy for it. This happens when a penny is struck on the wrong type of metal, like a dime's blank. If your 2007 penny looks silver or has a weird weight, get it checked. Even without errors, a perfect condition penny, meaning no scratches, full details, and a strong strike, can sell for thousands. And now, I know what you're thinking: I have so many pennies. How do I know if one of them is special? Great question. Grab a magnifying glass or zoom in with your phone camera. A normal penny should be about 2.5 grams. If it's off, it might be a wrong planchet error. A crisp, sharp coin with no wear could be a high-grade penny worth thousands. If you find something that looks unusual, get it graded by PCGS or NGC. They're like the Michelin star judges for coins. This actually happened to me. A few years ago, I was at a gas station, paid for my drink, and got some change back. One penny looked kinda odd. The color was slightly different, and the details seemed off. But instead of checking, I just tossed it into my car's cup holder. Remembered to look it up. Turns out, it was a 1992 Close AM penny worth thousands. But before I could cash in, my car went in for a deep clean, and guess what? The detail-oriented car wash guy vacuumed it up. The 2007 Lincoln penny, a tiny coin with a massive price tag. If you've got spare change lying around, it's time to start checking. Who knows? You could be sitting on a small fortune. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on finding rare coins, collecting strategies, and the latest coin values, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. And hey, if you've ever found a valuable coin or missed out on one like I did, drop your story in the comments. Let's swap some treasure hunting tales. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the channel where we talk about coins that could change your life, literally. Have you ever found a random penny on the sidewalk, shrugged, and tossed it into your pocket without a second thought? Well, what if I told you that one of those pennies could be worth $1.7 million? Yep, you heard that right. Today, we're talking about the 1996 D Lincoln penny, a little copper-coated beauty that could make you a millionaire overnight. And no, this isn't some fairy tale or an old wives' tale your grandpa told you while rocking on the porch. This is real, and I'm gonna break it all down for you. So, grab your loose change, dig through that junk drawer, and maybe even check between your couch cushions, because if you have one of these pennies, you might just be sitting on a fortune. Alright, let's get into it. The 1996 D Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, hence the D mint mark, and normally, these pennies are worth, well, a penny. But there's a super rare error version of this coin that makes it insanely valuable. One day, a guy named Tom, we'll call him Lucky Tom, was going through his late grandfather's coin collection. He spotted an ordinary looking 1996 D penny but noticed something a little off. Instead of spending it on a vending machine snack, he decided to get it checked by a professional coin grader. Fast forward a few months, BAM, it sold at auction for $1.70 million. Key features of the $1.7 million penny: misprint or double die error. Some of these pennies were struck twice by accident, creating a slight doubling effect, especially on Lincoln's profile or the lettering. If the words Liberty or In God We Trust look a little fuzzy or doubled, congratulations. You might be holding a jackpot. Some rare 1996 D pennies were misaligned when struck, leaving part of the design missing. The more dramatic the error, the better. Now, this one's a game changer. Some 1996 D pennies were accidentally struck on a bronze planchet instead of the standard copper-plated zinc. If you have one of these, you better call an auction house ASAP. The highest value 1996 D pennies are those in MS67 or higher condition. That's Coin Geek talk for basically flawless. If it looks like it just rolled out of the mint yesterday, you're in luck. Okay, so now you're probably staring at your pennies like they hold the secrets of the universe. Here's how to check: grab a magnifying glass, or just use your phone's camera, because, let's be real, who actually owns a magnifying glass? Look for doubling on the letters or Lincoln's face. Weigh the penny. If it's closer to 3.11 grams instead of the standard 2.5 grams, you might have the rare bronze version. If anything looks suspiciously different from a normal penny, take it to a professional coin grader. So, let's say you hit the jackpot. You found a rare 1996 D penny, and now you're dreaming of a luxury vacation or a brand new sports car. Where do you sell it? Big names like Heritage Auctions and Stacksbowers are your best bet. eBay can be an option, but be careful with scams. Sometimes, local collectors are willing to pay a premium if you negotiate right, and trust me, you do not want to be the person who unknowingly spends $1 million penny on a cup of gas station coffee. Alright, folks, that's the wild world of the 1996 D Lincoln penny. Who knew something so tiny could be worth so much? The next time you get change back at the store, don't just shove it into your pocket, take a second and check. And hey, if you liked this video and want more insider tips on valuable coins, make sure to subscribe. I'm always dropping new videos on rare finds, money-making strategies, and collector's secrets. Who knows? The next video could be about a coin you have sitting in a jar right now. So, hit that like button, share this with a friend, and let me know in the comments what's the coolest coin you've ever found. Maybe one of you is holding the next $1 million discovery. Alright, picture this. You're digging through an old jar of coins, maybe it's one that's been sitting on top of your fridge for years. You're just looking for some spare change for a coffee, right? But what if I told you that one little penny in that jar could be worth $1.8 million? Yep, you heard that right. A single 1968 Lincoln penny with NO mint mark could make you a millionaire. $1 million? That's got to be a joke. But trust me, this is real. And today, we're diving deep into why this rare penny is worth a fortune, how you can spot one, and most importantly, how you can cash in if you're lucky enough to have one. So, grab your coin jar, because by the end of this video, you might just be running to check your pennies. Alright, let's start with the big question: why is this penny worth so much? It all comes down to a mix of rarity, history, and a little bit of good old-fashioned minting mistakes. In 1968, the US Mint was cranking out Lincoln pennies at 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Normally, coins from Denver and San Francisco have a little D or S mint mark under the year. But Philadelphia pennies? They didn't have a mint mark, completely normal. Well, some of these no mint mark pennies from 1968 aren't your regular Philadelphia pennies. Instead, they were mistakenly struck at the San Francisco Mint, which should have had an S mint mark but didn't, and because of that tiny mistake, these pennies are insanely rare. Alright, now comes the fun part. How do you tell if your 1968 penny is the one? Here's what you need to check: it must be a 1968 penny. If it's from another year, sorry, no millionaire status today. Check under the date. If there's a little S or D, it's not the rare one. No letter? You're still in the game. This is where things get interesting. The rare $1.8 million version has unique characteristics, like strong details in Lincoln's hair, sharper edges, and a slightly off-center strike. Some even have doubling on the lettering, meaning the letters look like they have shadows. If your coin matches these traits, congratulations, you might just be sitting on a fortune. Well, right now, in 2025, the highest recorded sale for this coin was $1.8 million at an auction. Collectors are going nuts for these rare error coins, especially ones in pristine condition. And if you think you have one, here's what to do. I know, it's tempting to make it look nice, but cleaning a coin actually lowers its value. Organizations like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, can verify if your penny is legit and give it an official grade. Once it's graded, you can auction it off or sell it to a high-end collector who's willing to pay top dollar. And now, let me tell you about a friend of mine. Let's call him Mike. Mike isn't a coin collector. In fact, the guy barely pays attention to his pocket change. But one day, he was watching a video about rare coins, just like you are now, and he decided to check his loose change. He found an old, worn-out 1968 penny with no mint mark. He thought, probably nothing. But just to be sure, he sent it in for grading. Turns out, it wasn't the $1 million one, but it was an older, slightly rare version worth $500. You never know what might be sitting in your pocket or couch cushions. One little 1968 penny could make you a millionaire. But even if you don't find the big one, there are still plenty of valuable coins out there just waiting to be discovered. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, subscribe for more coin hunting tips, and drop a comment below. What's the most valuable coin you've ever found? And hey, don't forget to check that coin jar. Who knows? You might be sitting on a small fortune.